watching UnrealEntGaming. This is Vegeta, the prince of all Saiyans. Make sure you subscribe to UnrealEntGaming and push the like button for me.
Or else you'll be Hakai!
Not Beerus.
You know how this works. Make sure you enable all notifications on the channel and watch the entire video all the way through.
And don't forget to follow UnrealEntGaming on both Instagram and Twitter.
That's enough! On with the video.
As the battle within Universe 7 to determine the fate of the entire multiverse now continues, with Myrno now completely losing his patience in going after our heroes and taking them down one by one for the sole purpose of getting what he had originally entered the multiverse for, and that was gaining access to both the Grand Priest and the Omni Kings. With time now essentially being up and with our heroes being limited on choices, in order for the United Universes to now stay alive, the million-dollar question going forward is, will our heroes be able to somehow in some kind of way buy enough time installing Merno before the Omni Kings and the Grand Priest's arrival, or will Merno simply carry out his acts in not only having to wipe out our heroes, but also then go on to wipe out the multiverse for the sole purpose of reaching the Omni King and the Grand Priest? Now, before we dive any further into this video, if you are new to the channel and of course have a love and passion for all things Dragon Ball related, including its manga, anime, video games, fan animations, fan mangas, and more, in which would also like to be kept up to date with everything in regards to the Dragon Ball Super manga, the Dragon Ball Super anime, Dragon Ball video games, and any and all additional content within the Dragon Ball universe, then I do encourage you guys to head on over and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to always be notified whenever a brand new video is posted onto the channel, as well as giving this video a big thumbs up by slapping that like button down below if you guys are simply excited to see what the future holds for the Dragon Ball franchise. And with all that being said, I want to thank you all so much for your time, thank you all so much for supporting the channel, and now let's dive straight into the video. As our story continues inside of the Omni King's palace, with both of the Omni Kings shown patiently waiting, it was just about the right time for the Omni Kings to finally give the Grand Priest his final challenge, as one of the Omni Kings went on to comment, "I wonder if he will pass. I think it's time. Should we call for him to come inside so we can begin?" As the second Omni King responds, "Yes, I agree. I think it's time. We're ready, Grand Minister. You can come inside now so we can play." With the Grand Priest then finally shown walking on inside, he then went on to respond, "As requested, sire. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity." And with the Grand Priest then shown bowing, he then continues, "I am ready to finish our game so I could put on a great fight for you both." "What is my final test?" the Grand Priest asks, as one of the Omni Kings responds, "Your final test is right in front of you, silly. Can't you see it? Right in front of me, you say, but sires, there is nothing but an hourglass before me. I don't quite understand what this means, nor what the challenge is here. What is the meaning of this hourglass exactly? What does this object have anything to do with your final game?" As to the shocking revelation to everyone within the chamber, the Omni Kings then went on to respond, "It has everything to do with it because the hourglass is the final game." "Yes," says the second Omni King, "we want to see how long you can wait before all of the sand hits the bottom." "Yeah, nobody has ever held out until all of the sand was at the bottom," the first Omni King says. "Yeah, nobody, and we want to see if you're going to quit like the rest of them." "We don't think you will," says the first Omni King, "but it's sure going to be a while until it runs out." "Yeah," the second Omni King responds, "and from the looks of it, there's only 3,241,000 years remaining." As the Grand Priest cannot believe what the Omni Kings had just said, as the Grand Priest went on to ask, "A test of patience? With all due respect, great Omni Kings, I don't think this is a very good idea, especially not for this. If possible, I would suggest a different game, only because, well, our friend Myrno may not want to wait that long to have this battle with me for you." "Are you saying there is something wrong with the game we want to play?" asks one of the Omni Kings. "What are you trying to say about our game, Grand Minister?" asks the second Omni King. "You don't seem very pleased by what we just said. We hope we don't have a problem on our hands, because all we want is to see how long you can last before saying I quit, both of the Omni Kings shout, as the Grand Priest seems more worried now than ever before, as the Grand Priest went on to say to himself, there is no possible way that the multiverse will hold out another day, let alone another 3 million years before it's destroyed. I must not pressure them nor anger them in any way, but I must find an alternative before it's too late. Myrno will obliterate them unless I act quickly, but how can I get the Omni Kings to accept an alternative when they seem to be dead set on seeing this through? I can only think of one other idea that may work, but it'll be risky, the Grand Priest says. If they notice what I do, I'm afraid they will be extremely angered, and that is the last thing we want to happen. This is what makes the Great Omni Kings so dangerous. Their unpredictable anger is hidden behind their lovable childish behavior. In order for this to work, I have to make sure that neither of them are looking. I hate lying to the Great Kings, but it's the only choice I have if all life is to be preserved and kept safe from Myrno's wrath. And with the Omni Kings seemingly very excited by being shown hovering with the hourglass in front of them, one of them went on to ask, so, are you ready to play? You'd be the first person to ever complete the hourglass challenge if you make it until the end. Yes, says the second Omni King, and if you do make it to the end, we can't wait to see this fight that you keep talking about. As the Grand Priest responds, yes, it will be quite fun indeed, sires. It will be a battle that you will surely never forget. So I am ready to begin when you are, the Grand Priest says. As all the while when going back to our heroes, Mastered Ultra Instinct Vegito is then shown getting into fighting position by telling Myrno, whatever it is that you're thinking about doing, you can forget it. As strong as you are, your power could never eclipse our will to fight and survive. We're ready to lay it all down, Vegito says. So, what's it going to be, Vegito asks. Make your move. You idiots are digging yourselves into a hole far deeper than you could ever hope to climb out of, Myrno says. Your willpower to protect this universe will shatter soon enough. But before I tear your silly little fusion apart and finish you off for good, Myrno says, let's make sure that nobody gets in our way. And with Myrno then shown quickly having to make his move in targeting his siblings, Vados went on to shout, he's making his move! Whis, look out! You three have been a thorn in my side ever since you decided to aid these pathetic mortals in battle against me, Myrno says. So to ensure that you will not be getting in my way again, I'm going to send your broken bodies off on a painful journey while you suffer in the voids of space, Myrno says. And I'm going to start with you, Whis. Which was exactly what Myrno had done, because Myrno was then shown connecting a thunderous shot to Whis' face that not only resulted in Whis being sent flying into outer space, but the sheer force of the impact behind the punch had seemingly damaged Whis, with Marcarita shouting, Whis, no! Vados, did you hear that sound? Did he break Whis' jaw? I've got to help him, Vados says. Marcarita, stay here and keep him grounded. Whis needs me, but before Vados could even act, Myrno out of nowhere had gone to appear right in front of Vados and asking, and just where do you think you're going, Vados? As with Myrno then shown once again doing the exact same thing he had done to Whis, only this time, Myrno instead of connecting a punch had gone to connect a fearsome kick by telling his sister, you won't be saving anyone this time, but just like Whis, you will be joining him in the void. Which again had ultimately gone the way Myrno had planned, with Vados' body shown hurtling through space with Myrno continuing. They'll be lucky to make it back in one piece, let alone survive with the damage that was just inflicted onto them both. Which by the end, Myrno was right, because with both Whis and Vados shown crashing through multiple planets through the voids of space, neither angel had seemed to have any control over their bodies, as Whis went on to utter, my body, I cannot feel my body, I must fight. I have to try. My face feels as though it's been smashed into pieces, Whis says. There was something more behind that attack of his. Yes, a paralyzing technique, Whis says. He was not only able to neutralize a successful attack that paralyzed some of the nerves in my body, but he also made sure that we couldn't recover fast enough to come back into the fight. As even with Vados herself is seemingly being shown crashing through multiple planets with the Grand Priest observing, it would only now appear as though our heroes are barely even hanging on in this battle, as the Grand Priest went on to comment, Myrno is tearing through them. He's onto them and knows they are prolonging his plans of reaching me. They cannot possibly keep this up if this goes on, and with Vados shown clinging onto her stomach and flying through space, Vados now appears as though she cannot control herself while in the voids of space, as Vados went on to comment, I've lost control of my ability to stabilize myself, and I couldn't reach Whis in time. Grand Minister, Vado says. Father, I'm sorry. I failed you. I cannot act on this alone, she says. As with blood shown dripping down from her mouth and tears beginning to fill her eyes, she then continues, Myrno is just as strong as I remembered when he stood by you. I'm sorry that we couldn't buy the time that you needed. And with the Grand Priest shown overseeing this on his staff, the Grand Priest himself now is in a very dire position as the Grand Priest comments they will die. This is now becoming a problem that is far beyond their control. I cannot do anything until given the approval by the Omni Kings. Our laws cannot be broken under any condition. The oath I have taken is my highest of honors, and I must stand by it. However, I cannot wait for the hourglass to run out before I can help. There must be something that I can do in the meantime that will not affect nor break the laws which we protect, says the Grand Priest. Since I cannot physically get involved until allowed, there has to be something that I can do from here to help them. The Omni Kings are too busy with the hourglass, the Grand Priest says. They can't see what I'm doing unless it's made obvious to them. Then this will be the only chance that I have to make a difference in this battle, he says, even if it buys them a bit more time until my arrival. I can only do so much from here, but it's better than just standing here and watching this all unfold. With the other gods of destruction along with their angels ordered to stay put to defend their own universe, the ones fighting Merno currently are the only ones preventing him from traveling into other universes. My power knows no limit, says the Grand Priest, and since I cannot act just yet, then they must be the ones to act for me until it is time. I cannot risk losing more angels in this war against him, says the Grand Priest. Worry not, my angels, I am here. Now freeze, the Grand Priest says. As with both Whis and Vados' bodies then shown stopping in space with a barrier having to surround them, it was during that moment where the Grand Priest went on to contact his angels by telling them, my fellow angels, I am without power until given the order to assist you in this battle against Myrno. While I wait until the Omni King's game is finished, I will be here to guide you. You must listen to me. The great Omni Kings have requested for me to finish a game that is beyond patience. I have a plan to shorten the time that I have until my arrival, but it cannot be done without you. During this process, you both will be healed, but you must do whatever you can to hold Myrno off for another 30 minutes. If I am able to pull this off, then I will be arriving shortly. Upon Myrno's arrival, I also gather the Super Dragon Balls and lock them here within a sacred chamber to protect them. He knows what you're doing and he knows you're stalling, the Grand Priest says. Do not, under any circumstance, give away our location no matter what happens. All of the damage could be reversed, but not if we, along with the Super Dragon Balls, are destroyed. 30 minutes is what I need, then you will leave him to me. I leave the fate of the multiverse in the hands of both you and your warriors. If Myrno is successful, then I'm afraid it will all be over, the Grand Priest says. Although he once served as the Grand Angel among our race, he is not unbeatable, and if you are not able to destroy him together, then it will be me. He's been studying and learning from your battles. Do not let him get ahead of you. Fighting him alone will surely get you killed. So if you are to attack him, you must attack him together. You have all done a great job in keeping him level-headed, but I'm afraid his rage is beginning to take control. 30 minutes, that is what I ask of you. Do not give in to him, my angels. But even then, suspiciously enough, one of the Omni Kings went on to notice the Grand Priest and asking, hey, Grand Minister, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? As the Grand Priest needed to act fast, in which he did, because as a means of a distraction, the Grand Priest then went on to comment, and yes, there we go, the multiverse's most delicious pieces of candy, just for you, sires. I was wondering where I could find them, and I asked just the right person in order to get them. While we wait, the Grand Priest says, I figured we'd have some treats in the meantime. Oh wow, really, says one of the Omni Kings, that's for us? They look so good, says the second Omni King, where is it going? Come now, you two, says the Grand Priest. Let's move away from that silly hourglass and come eat this way. Hurry now before it loses its taste. As all the while when going back to our heroes, Mastered Ultra Instinct Vegito was then shown attacking Myrno, with Myrno having to block off his attacks by responding. Without the angelic power my pathetic brother had infused within those Potaras, you'd be dead. What's wrong, asks Vegito, surprised to see that I can keep up? Your mouth and the amount of garbage that is coming out of it is what surprised surprises me more than anything, Saiyan. You don't compare to me, not even in the slightest. Maybe, Vegito says, but we aren't the only ones in this fight with you. As with Vegito then shown ducking on under, with Mastered Ultra Instinct Jiren then shown stepping through, in a collective effort to throw Myrno off his game, Jiren went on to shout, "Gotcha!" To where in that moment, Jiren was in fact successful enough in landing a clean shot on Myrno's face, but this did not affect Myrno in the slightest, as he proceeded to grab onto Jiren's hand in removing it from his face by telling him, "Your coordinated efforts against me are disgustingly painful to bear through. Get your dirty hands off of me, mortal." And as soon as Myrno was once again shown throwing Jiren in the distance, he then went on to shout, "You will wait your turn." And with Jiren's body then shown crashing through the landscape, Myrno then went on to continue, "The two of you are more entertaining than I expected for you to be, which makes killing you that much more rewarding." However, Myrno says, and as soon as he was then shown dashing directly towards Vegito, he then continues, "I think it's time for another one of your allies to lose their life. And I have just the one in mind." "That's speed," Vegito says. "Oh yeah? Well, we ain't going down that easy, let's do this!" But as soon as Vegito attempted to strike Myrno, his punch went directly through, with Vegito asking, "What the heck?" "Oh, I wasn't talking about you, Potara." As indeed he wasn't, because Myrno's next target was in fact none other than Beerus. With Myrno then shown striking Beerus directly in the chest and having to impale him, that's when Myrno went on to tell him, "There you are, Beerus. I owe you for the many times you've escaped me." No, Beerus says, how was he able to move like that? Damn, you won't win. You'll die in this war, you coward. "Oh, but I've already won, foolish destroyer. At least now you have the honor of joining your disgusting brother in the afterlife for a short time before that is destroyed as well. I can feel your heart in my hand," Myrno says. "Your numbers are dropping, and they're dropping fast." "Tick-tock," Myrno says. "It's as I said. If that coward minister does decide to reveal himself, then he will be greeted by a sea of your blood." As it was only then during that moment where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super story of Myrno vs. the Multiverse manga chapter number 27 special then comes to a close. Now, it's official, 30 minutes is what the Grand Priest requires in order for him to be able to somehow, in some kind of way, shortening that time in arriving to help our heroes, because one by one, just as Merno had promised since the beginning of his arrival, he is not only going as far as to keep his promise in wiping out our heroes one by one, but he's also doing this in a way in trying to see what he can get out of them, because even the Grand Priest himself is acknowledging this to his own angels by telling them that no matter the circumstance, nobody must give up the location of where they're at, because not only would that be putting them in danger, but also if Merno on top of this is also able to find the Super Dragon Balls, then one of two things are bound to either happen. Either A, he's going to use the Super Dragon Balls in making some kind of wish, or B, he's simply not going to have any use for them and destroy them in the process. So things are most definitely heating up now, with Beerus being another one of Myrno's victims now. This ultimately begs the million-dollar question: who exactly is going to be Myrno's next victim, and will our heroes be able to buy the 30 minutes that the Grand Priest needs in order for him to arrive, or is Myrno simply going to act on instinct and wipe out everything before his arrival? As of course we are currently working and constructing the next Myrno manga chapter, which should be available on the channel as soon as we end up crushing our like goal, to which right now, in order for us to get to the next manga chapter, which is that of manga chapter number 28, the like goal for this video may in fact actually be the biggest like goal to date, to which right now the like goal for this video is going to be 18,000 likes. Again, a very simple like goal to achieve, because all you really have to do is scroll on down below and give this video a big fat thumbs up by slapping that like button down below, and that's essentially it. It's quick, it's easy, and more importantly, as I always say, it's free. Now, as we begin to near the end of the story, one must put into question as to how all of this is going to end, because I can promise you this, it's going to be very unexpected, it's going to be very bloody, and with the conclusion and the outcome that we have planned, I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. So again, I appreciate your time, thank you all so much for being here, and more importantly, thank you so much for your patience, because constructing these and drawing these and making these on your own while editing is not easy. So if you were able to just give me a little bit of time and just be patient with me, then I promise you, you will actually get more than what you're expecting. So again, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. If you guys are new to the channel as well, then be sure to go on over and smash that subscribe button and give this video a big fat thumbs up. Like I said, tune back in for more. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a terrific day, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great day and or night, everybody, and take care. Peace.
This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe, and of course I'm here to tell you to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming.
Also follow UnrealEntGaming on these social media platforms to stay connected at all times. And if you don't, then very soon you will all be dead. Oh, did someone say UnrealEntGaming? Oh my god.
The fuck, Zarbon? Put on some clothes!
Well, why don't you put on any clothes?
What? I don't need clothes, but Jesus Christ, that's huge! What, Broly?
Freezer.
Uh-oh.
Prepare to die!
UnrealEntGaming, but once you get video, all lots of likes, or Bill will turn you into chocolate!
Vados, get over here! Tell these mortals that I'm the biggest UnrealEntGaming fan. This is my moment. I'm a part of his notification squad. Universe 7 can have all the fun. I just want the food.
And don't forget to leave a comment on this video. Show some love for the best community on YouTube.
Kakarota!